Can't say that.
Say preserved.
Can't say that.
Ricky, do you want to do your true or false while we get some more of these in?
Sure, I'll tell you what I've challenged Death to. The fastest one to start up a class 47.
You win every time.
Fucking right, I would. Right, yeah, go on, I'll do me
I don't know what I'd do. You see, I came up with the question, but I didn't come up with an answer for it. But anyway, it's true or false for Ricky.
Okay.
Go on, Rick.
So the first one, I was staying over a mate's house one day, and my old man was going out for a drink. And I knew he was going to be getting on it and getting home late. So what I'd done, he had this old alarm clock with the old style, you know, the bell, noisy fucking thing. So I set that to go off at 4 a.m, and I hid it behind a wardrobe, like a little set of drawers. And anyway, I forgot all about it. Came home the next day, and he went, "Did you set that fucking alarm and put it behind the wardrobe?" It went off, and I was stood there in the middle of the fucking room for about half hour trying to pinpoint where the fucking noise was coming from. So that was that's number one. Second one was there was a fete going on Plumstead Common, and I'd been a little terror, and my mum and dad wouldn't let me go because my friends were going, and my dad had a false tooth at the time, so I hid it for the day. And eventually, like, I didn't admit that, you know, I'd hid it. You know, I kind of put it back in the place where, you know, well, around the area at the end of the day. So he was just like, "Oh, well, there it is," and I never got caught for it. But yeah, I hid his false tooth because he wouldn't let me go to the fight.
Both very believable, then.
Both
Ricky.
very, very believable. I think I've heard this story before, but I think I've heard both of them in some way before. So I think, but
It's possible.
Evelyn Anderson's commenting on what she'd play death at, and she says hide and seek. That's an interesting game to choose, where, you know, meeting death when you're in his lair. Didn't look like there were many places to hide in Bill and Ted. Anyway, so let's go back to this. So
I'm going number one.
Yeah, one.
Because you're a right prank person, and that's just a classic. That's
where were you
brilliant.
living at the time? Was that in Plumstead?
That was Turin Road, Plumstead.
How old were you?
Plumstead. I think I was living there between.
No, but how old were you when you did it?
Well, when I was living in Plumstead?
Yeah.
12, 13. What, when I hid his tooth?
No, not the tooth.
The alarm clock.
So how old were you when you hid the tooth?
Oh, the alarm clock. I was in Thamesmead. So that was 10 years ago, 10, 11 years ago.
What, when you were 20? You mean 20
something
years
like
ago?
Yeah, something like that.
You're maths, man.
What, 10 years ago?
10 years ago, you were like 23.
25.
25. You weren't living in Thamesmead then, were you? Oh, so it was in the flat. It was in the flat.
Yeah, in the flat in Thamesmead.
Right, okay, sorry. I thought you meant Turin Road.
Turin Road is where I hid the tooth. The flat is where I hid the alarm clock behind the wardrobe.
It all sounds very, very confusing. Right. Jill says, I know the answer, so it wouldn't be fair for me to comment. So we got Evelyn saying one, Jackie saying one, Anne saying both, Reinhold saying one, Donna saying one, but we've got a lot of twos. Christine is two, Jarrett's two, Sharon is two, Mike Crooks is two, fairly evenly split. Lots of people saying both. Christine says two. So which is it, Ricky? I'm going to go with number one, by the way. Trev, which
one.
are you going with?
One.
Chris?
One.
Which is it, Ricky?
It is number one. The alarm clock behind the... and honestly, this alarm clock was fucking horrible, so I can only imagine what he was doing, standing in the middle of the room, pissed out of his head, swaying. He said, trying to pinpoint where the fucking noise was coming from.
Well, there
That
we
sounds like
go.
something
You
you'd do to
tortured your
Bonnie.
dad yet again. Poor soul.
I've never hid his false tooth though. I know it's a believable story. I've never hid. I remember me and Ronnie were naughty once, and we was in Ronnie's old room, and he's come flying in, and he started shouting, and with the force of him shouting, his false tooth it flew out and landed on the floor, and he's gone. Just looked at his tooth. He's picked it up, put it back in, and he's walked out. And that was the end of it. Oh, me and Ronnie were pissing ourselves. You can't come back from that. He just had to walk out.